Okay, we are streaming on YouTube now.
The chalet.
Yeah, the chalet.
With the sound of music.
I still want to figure out how to get Rushmore behind me.
I show you how to do that.
Okay, I'll be in. No, actually, Ebbets Field would be better.
Ebbets Field. Aaron Trone waiting. Mr. President, you currently have Commissioner Shin, Commissioner Kutz on the Zoom meeting. Commissioner Black is not here yet, nor is Commissioner Holtzman.
Okay. It looks like about a 1 minute till 6. We'll give the two other commissioners about a minute or so after 6 to join us. And then we'll proceed, since we'll have a quorum. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to our staff, our management, and those folks joining us from the public this evening to Lower Allen Township Board of Commissioners regular meeting of February 8th, 2021. My name is Dean Vallone. I'm the president of the Board of Commissioners. I would like to note at this time, as we're commencing this meeting, myself, Dean Vallone, Commissioner Shin and Commissioner Kutz, I'm aware of are on this Zoom meeting with us and present. I believe Commissioner Black and Commissioner Holtzman have not joined us yet, and we hope that they'll join us soon. Before we start our meetings, we start with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance, but I would like to also offer that proof of publication is available for this meeting for your review. Let's pray. We pray this day to give thanks for all the many blessings bestowed upon our township. Watch over us who are entrusted with the administration of this township. Create in us the earnest desire to serve faithfully and permit us to experience the joys of noble service completed for our residents. Encourage cooperation from those who are served and from those who serve. Help us to use every willing service and every effort put forth for good government. Heavenly Father, we ask your guidance to help us as commissioners to make the right decisions. We ask that you aid our staff as they perform the daily tasks of running our township. And we request that you be by our first responders as they protect our residents and see that they return home safe at the end of each day. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance
to
to
the
the
flag
flag
of the United
United
States
States of America,
and to the
of the
republic
republic for which it
which
stands,
stands one
one
nation
nation,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Once again, good evening, everybody. In our packets, commissioners, we've received our minutes from our January 25th, 2001 regular meeting. And if at some point, if you don't have any changes or comments to those minutes, I'd be seeking a motion to approve the minutes from January 25th.
I move we approve the minutes of the Lower Allen Township Board of Commissioners meeting of January 25th, 2021 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Shin, and I have a second from Commissioner Black. And Ms. Secretary, please note Commissioner Black has joined us.
Got it. Thanks.
So therefore, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Moving on, this evening we have a corporal promotional ceremony. But prior to that, we have a resolution in front of us appointing Michael J. Scarlato to the rank of corporal of the Lower Allen Township Police Department effective February 8th, 2021. Are there any questions, or would anyone like to entertain a motion on resolution 2021-R-6?
I'd like to make the motion appoint 2021-R-06, appointing Michael J. Scarlato to the rank of corporal of the Lower Allen Township Police Department.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Black and a second from Commissioner Shin. Is there any further discussion? Therefore, all those in favor of approving resolution 2021-R-06, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries 4-0.
Congratulations, Corporal.
Congratulations, sir. And I believe our corporal promotional ceremony is now to follow. Director Hull?
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. President. We are gathered down in Gorgas. Mike is here with his family and the command staff from the police department. And I'll turn it over at this point to Captain Crone and DJ Delosier to do the honors of the, admitting him into his position, swearing him in.
Good evening. I'm Captain Crone with Lower Allen Police Department. We have tonight Officer Michael Scarlato, who competed in a grueling selection process and has prevailed and will be promoted to corporal. Without any further ado, I will have MDJ Delosier and soon to be Corporal Scarlato step forward.
The floor is all yours, Judge.
Thanks, sir. First of all, raise your hand. I, Michael J. Scarlato,
I, Michael J. Scarlato,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth,
and the ordinances of Long Island Township.
and the ordinances of Long Island Township.
I will discharge the duties of my office
I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity
with fidelity,
and without consideration
without consideration
to a person's race,
to a person's race,
color,
color, sex,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual orientation,
national origin,
national origin,
ancestry, and gender, or disability. As a corporal
for the Long Island Township.
Congratulations.
I'll turn it back
Corporal.
to you.
Congratulations, Corporal. Could I ask you to step a little closer to the camera?
We have a couple more things here. We have Tiffany Scarlato, his wife, to come here and pin the rank on him, and I will pin the badge on him real quick.
Corporal, let me be the first to say congratulations on your promotion. And I know that you're in good hands in Lower Allen Township, and I know us and the residents in Lower Allen Township are also in very good hands with you. Prior to this meeting this evening, I don't know if she told you, but I had a conversation with your mom, who I served with on a board years ago. And of course, needless to say, she's very proud of you as well. So I'll let any of the other commissioners give their gratitude if they'd like.
Corporal, congratulations. I think I jumped the gun a little while there, but I'll re-up on it. Congratulations, Corporal.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, Mike. Come back when we can all shake your hand.
Will do, sir. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you.
With that, we will turn it over back to you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thanks, Captain.
Moving on this evening, audience participation. At this point on our agenda, if you haven't been with us before, this is where if you're planning to or would like to speak or contribute to the conversation on any item that's on our agenda, now's the time to let us know. And you can let Aaron Trone or Tom Verneau know via chat if you don't have the ability to raise your hand right now where we can see it. And then you would let us know which item. And when we get to that item, we will invite you to participate. Is there anyone here to join us and speak on any agenda item this evening? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. If that changes, I'm sure someone will notify me and we will try to circle back. Under your president this evening, I'd be looking to accept the motion to approve the check register of January 29th, 2021 in the amount of $238,070.62.
Mr. President, I would like to make the motion to approve the check register as it is before you.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Black and a second from Commissioner Shin. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next, I'd be looking to accept the motion to approve the revised retirement date of Wendy Hayden to March 5th, 2021.
So moved.
Second,
I have a motion on the question from Commissioner Shin, a second from Commissioner Black. Is there any further discussion or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. And finally, be looking to accept the motion to accept the resignation of Recording Secretary Tina Thomas effective March 31st, 2021.
Regretfully so moved.
Second with regrets.
I have a regretful motion from Commissioner Shin and a like regretful second by Commissioner Black. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Regretfully. And thank you again, Team Thomas, for all of your service to Lower Allen Township. And we look forward to still having your company at our meetings through the end of March.
Yep. Thank you.
Tried to talk her into staying longer, but she wasn't having it.
I see.
She shut me down pretty quick.
Okay.
Well, I think it's taken all this time for me to make the connection between the two Thomas employees that we've had here all
Yes.
this time. My
Yeah, well-
apologies, Tina.
That's okay. We'll probably leave together.
Next on our agenda, any business pertinent to the township. Discussions will be limited to 15 minutes per person. This is where anybody joining us this evening, if you have something to share with the township that you feel is pertinent information, feel free to bring that up. Now we'll try to let everybody go in order. Is there anyone here to speak on any item pertinent to the township at this time?
Don't see any hands up.
I just beg your pardon. I'm reading a message. Thank you, Mr. Manager. We'll move on. If there's anyone who does feel like they want to bring something up or joins us later, we'll do our best to circle back. Next up, under our Township Engineer, it looks like Dan has 4 or 5 items for us this evening.
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Mr. President. First item I have is sort of a repeat from last year. In 2019, on the recommendation of our building maintenance staff, we had budgeted for in 2020 for replacing one of the rooftop HVAC units here at the municipal building. The bid came in a little higher than we expected, and it was right in the beginning and the midst of lots of other turmoil going on and unknown financial things for the rest of the year in 2020. And the decision was made then not to award the contract. So we were able to include it at a higher amount in the 2021 budget. So we would like authorization to put that project out to bid at this time to replace that unit.
So
Mr.
moved.
President, I'm ready to make a motion. All right. Okay. I'll make that motion authorizing staff to prepare and advertise bids for the replacement of a rooftop HVAC unit RTU-2 at the Municipal Services Center.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Shin, a second from Commissioner Black. Is there any discussion on this item? Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, item B is from the last meeting when bids were opened. There was a single bid received for the 2021 Fund for It reconstruction project. I did include a memo in your packet kind of going through the evolution of the process since 2017, including grant applications to DCNR, the second, which was successful, a grant award from Cumberland County in the Land Partnerships Program, the design, the preliminary design used to obtain the funding, and then the final design construction documents. Funding the township planned on in the 2019 capital lease program funding, and then after opening the bid, the scenario that we would use to fund the project with existing fees or funds in the recreation land fee in lieu of land account. So that's kind of a brief overview of the full page memo. I'd be glad to answer any questions that commissioners might have.
Commissioners?
Not a question, but a comment. It's a good contracting firm. That's the blessing.
Mhm.
All right. So Dan, you'd be looking at possible action. I mean, it shows here possible action this evening. Commissioners, is there any interest in making a motion on this item for this evening to get this project rolling?
I'll make the motion that we award a contract for the 2021 Fund for It reconstruction project, supported by the memo from the Township Engineer, Engineer Flint.
Second,
I have a motion by Commissioner Shin, a second by Commissioner Black. Is there any further discussion or comments?
Mr. Chairman, if I might, would it be possible to include in the motion the name of the contractor and the amount?
Oh,
Commissioner Shin, will you amend your motion, please?
I will amend it. We are awarding this to, let me find it in your memo.
Near the bottom.
Kinsley Construction Incorporated.
Thank you, sir. Kinsley Construction. That's the motion.
In the amount,
The amount not to, I guess, not to exceed $507,241.
And I will second that amended motion.
Okay, I have a motion on the amended motion, excuse me, and a second on that amended motion. Is there any questions or comments at this point? I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Was that an aye, Commissioner Kutz?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Motion carries 4-0.
Wait.
Okay, item C is relative to an item that was discussed some months back by the board with Charter Homes, at their desire to put some informational banners across two roads, across Arcona Road, which is a state road, and Strong Road, which will be a dedicated township street. And the board had approved agreements to do that based on our solicitor approving language and things. This action is, the potential action is not actually the agreements themselves, but in order for Charter to go to PennDOT to get a permit, they need not only an agreement, but a resolution authorizing the placement of the banner there by the Board of Commissioners. Even though it's not our road, it's a state road, PennDOT does require the municipal approval.
Commissioners, I would assume there would be some questions on this evening.
Well, Mr. President, I'm looking at the resolution. And I guess I have a couple of things that I'd like to highlight. First of all, I would like to talk about number 4 on the second side of the resolution itself. And the comment or the no more than 20% of the message may relate to naming or advertising commercial product, enterprise, business, or company. I would not be in favor of advertising any commercial companies on. I thought the banner was supposed to be to highlight activities pertinent to what would be going on within the community. So I'll just take a couple of these at once. So that I have a problem with any commercial product being advertised. Then the second thing is number 8, and I would like some further explanation on what it means for Lower Allen Township to acknowledge assuming full responsibility for erecting, maintaining, and removing the street banner and all liability for damages occurring to any person. Well, that whole statement there, I'm uncomfortable with Lower Allen Township being responsible for a banner that is being requested by a community.
Director, do we have any representatives from, I guess it'd be Charter Homes this evening with us?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Well, will you take or try to address Commissioner's first question?
I will. I think on the first one about the commercial space, I think that is intended to, if the event is going to be held, let's say it's going to be held at the Springgate Winery, that they would be allowed to name that on the sign as here's where this community event is going to be, or if it's at the coffee shop. Not that it would be for any business outside of the immediate Arcona neighborhood.
Dan, I guess what threw me and still does, I appreciate your comment. I'm still thrown a little bit with the advertising a commercial product. I would not want, what's a good wine name? I would not want, their specialty on a banner that we're responsible for.
Okay.
So number 8 is a probably as big, if not bigger, concern of mine.
Yeah, and I think I think it's there because PennDOT requires that from the municipality, and then the last sentence spells out that there will be an indemnity agreement between Charter and the township, or between the association and the township, where they in turn indemnify the township.
Thank you.
Okay, so that addresses number 2, right, Commissioner Shin?
That's right. Thank you.
So number 1, back to that real quick, Dan, is that just a matter of language? Because I take the spirit of what's being said in there based on my recollection of some of the meetings that I was involved in, well, not meetings, but some of the public meetings where they presented this idea of the banner, whereas they were going to just, they would business, not necessarily like a product, let's say, for sale, like saying, hey, go buy this particular type of wine and have a picture of that wine, but they'd be advertising more of the events, naming the businesses.
Yeah.
Maybe
the way to word that would be that no more than 20% may be used to name a business in the Arcona TND, so that it would limit it to only those businesses that are actually in the development there.
So we would not be taking, in that vein, we would not be taking a business that sold, like you said, a particular type of wine or whatever, and they wouldn't be putting up there, a quart of wine, however much of wines cost. We're not selling things with these banners, in other words.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I would feel better about that.
So since there's not a representative here this evening, is this something that you can address with them, Dan?
Yes.
And then just get us some information back.
We could reword that and bring it back at the next meeting.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions or comments on this resolution 21?
I do, Mr. President.
Commissioner Black.
Are all the commissioners in favor of Lower Allen Township installing this sign and maintaining it?
No. If I
No.
gave a yes the last time we talked about it, then I'm reneging on it.
Yeah, I don't recall any of us ever accepting or deciding that we were going to erect and maintain it. That was never part of the discussion. It was, they had asked, my recollection is they were just asking for permission to do it themselves.
I didn't like it then. I don't like it now.
Director, back in those discussions, what is the reason that the township needs to be involved with the erecting of this banner and then the maintenance? Is it because it has to do with being in the right of way, or?
Well, we would not actually be doing that. That would be part of the agreement between the township and Charter that they would be responsible for doing that. Again, I think PennDOT requires a municipality to take the responsibility, but then we pass on the responsibility to Charter. So I can tell you, they're going to wait a long time if they're waiting for us to put up the signs.
How many banners, Dan, do you think they're talking about? I mean, how many different places are they talking? Have they talked about, yeah, we'd like one in this particular location? Because that's a big community. I wouldn't want banners all over the place.
Now, the actual and this with the actual agreements for the signs, there's a specific location shown on a plan, and it's not something that they can put it at different places. It's very specific. There's one location across Strong Road, one location across Arcona Road, and they actually have to obtain zoning permits from the township, sign permits from the township. In addition to these other agreements, in order to be allowed to put those in. So they are specific, and they can't go at different places. And in fact, the sign supports themselves are pretty substantial, and they're permanently located. Once they put them there, they're not moving. Only the message banner would change from time to time.
Dan, do you have precise locations? Because I'm thinking, I don't know where they're going to put supports on either of those roads that's not going to interfere with either the businesses or with residents off a strong road, or the businesses off Arcona Road.
Yeah, there are specific locations, and when there was the discussion about the concept itself and the agreements to put the signs in, those plans showing those locations are part of those agreements. Now, I don't have that readily available to pull up here.
So
This,
go
this
ahead.
is not, Dan, when we've approved sections of their plan, this banner situation is not part of the plan approval, is it?
No, it's a
Okay.
separate issue.
All right.
It seems to me that we do have some confusion in what the language says, particularly whose responsibility. Commissioner Kutz brings up a great point, except it sounds like that's not really a factor in the end. And I think it has to do with our understanding of this language. So what I'm hearing is, while it says the township will take responsibility for the maintenance, I'm also kind of hearing, and maybe that's in the last line with the indemnity agreement, perhaps, that charter or another agreement that's not in front of us, that charter is responsible for erecting the signs essentially and changing them out. Correct?
Correct.
The
Yes.
information.
Yes, yeah, those were the agreements that were brought to the board several months ago.
Okay. So we have possession of those agreements, which
Yes.
says specifically that the townships, the municipality is not actually bound to do any specific work.
Yes.
Correct? Okay, I got it.
I guess so I guess we have some questions on it, and it sounds like there's enough not to do this tonight that they could bring it back at the next meeting. And in fact, I'd be interested in seeing those exact locations again. And my thought would be if we look over them and we don't like them, we just don't pass the resolutions. But I just with looking at this several months ago and not knowing the locations, I wouldn't mind taking another look at them unless there's any pressing reason to do this tonight.
No, we'll bring them all the information on the next agenda, the resolutions, the agreements, and the plan showing those locations.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Director-
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Just real quick though, is it possible, since we already have the agreements, to Commissioner Kutz's point, gives us a little bit of extra time. I could actually go down there and look for myself, the actual locations. Could you just maybe send that in a memo and describe it to us in next week's packet in between these two meetings?
Sure. Would you want to actually just see the plan? It's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, yeah, that would be terrific. And that way, if some of us don't have time over that weekend before the next meeting, it gives us a week to actually check it out for ourselves.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get that to you.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Is everybody,
Dan.
thanks. Is everybody good with moving on from this one?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. Go ahead, Dan.
Okay, item D. During the course of the construction project, there were some additional costs that came up. This is in the Gettysburg Road relocation project. They were legitimate cost increases and eligible for increased funding through PennDOT and HATS, the Harrisburg Area Transportation Study. That information was presented to them through a request. The additional funding was actually approved by HATS a few months ago because we have a reimbursement agreement with PennDOT. That's the vehicle by which we actually get the funds. That agreement has to be modified. So PennDOT requires a resolution authorizing the manager to sign that amendment to the reimbursement agreement that will then allow them to send us the extra money.
Commissioners, do we have any further questions on this for the director?
So I'd be willing to make a motion that we adopt resolution 2021-R-08, authorizing the township manager to sign amendment number 2 to the reimbursement agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for the Gettysburg Road relocation project.
It's a motion, Rick.
It is.
I'll second that.
I have a motion on resolution 2021-R-08 by Commissioner Shin, and I have a second by Commissioner Black. Is there any further questions or discussions? I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Is this work already done, Dan?
It's still ongoing. Some of the work has been done that required the extra funds. The work can continue while we go through that process.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are you seeing the aerial photo on my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is item E. Just to orient you on the location we're talking about here, this is Slate Hill Road running north-south through the screen and Hartsdale Drive. And there's a lot right here on the corner that's currently vacant of Slate Hill Road, Hartsdale Drive, and then this is Old Slate Hill Road here. And down at the street view, this is what you would see. That's the intersection with the signal. So this is right across from Old Slate Hill Road is this vacant lot on the corner. There's a plan that is in progress to build a house there. And it gets a little bit complicated because part of this is state road, a state road coming off the ramp and then heading east. This part of Hartsdale is a township road. And the location for the house to make a sewer connection is down about here. So it's some distance away from the house, which would require the builder to actually run a force main, or really it's a lateral, but it is a small diameter force main along the right of way. It's outside the pavement, but in order to get to the connection to the sanitary sewer. So the project involves 2 PennDOT permits, one for the driveway, one for the sewer. It involves a permit from the sewer authority to make the connection, requires a right-of-way permit from the township. But because it's a private utility type facility running parallel in a township roadway, it also requires a license agreement. There have been a few locations in the past when we've had to do this for either a sanitary sewer or even a storm sewer privately owned facility in the right-of-way. So I did include in your packet a document, because it does become a legal agreement with the township. It's something that would have to be authorized by the Board of Commissioners and signed and then actually recorded in the courthouse.
Dan, is somebody trying to build on that little plot, a little lot there?
Yes, yeah, there's a permit application and review process right now to build this single family home there.
God, I don't know how they plan to get in and out of their property on a busy day. That backs up right across that, what will be their driveway.
Yeah.
Wow.
But PennDOT gave them a permit for the driveway.
Mr. Solicitor, question for you. This is maybe could be the first of this type that's come by me since I've been involved on the board. So I guess I'm going to ask you if you've reviewed it and what you think about the township's position in this type of an agreement, and then this agreement specifically.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did discuss this with the engineer, and my primary focus was the indemnification insurance clauses that are in Article 2. Did give Mr. Flint some language in the insurance, particularly with the limits of liability. The indemnification language was there, and Mr. Flint and I have done these, rarely, but occasionally over the years. So it is a pretty standard form. So at this point, I don't have any objection to moving forward with those provisions because, as Dan said, this will be a document that will be recorded. The owner and his successors or their successors will have to abide by these insurance and indemnification clauses. So we do need to have that protection and, you know, primarily being aware if at any time the insurance is canceled, and there's a notice provision in the document as well. So, I mean, unless there's some other comments, I did approve it. And it's something we, as Dan said, we don't do often, but we have done it in the past.
Commissioners?
So Dan, the sanitary discharge from this proposed residence will be going into our municipal system, correct?
Correct.
Well, that's a blessing. So this would be no different than our authority having a house that has a topographic problem and has to use a force pump, a grinder pump, except that the discharge line is in the public right of way, correct?
Yes, it will be a discharge line from a grinder pump. The difference here is that it's not a lateral that just comes out from the house to meet the main in the street, but actually running parallel to the street for some distance to gain access to the nearest point in the system.
Is there any cost to the township, Dan, on this?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, one other question I have, and I wasn't sure if what you put on the screen showed this. What size is this parcel?
It's not really small. It's larger than many other parcels in that same zoning district. Let's see here.
It's not that it's small, Mr. President, it's just that it's in such an odd place.
I understand. I'm just curious to know what the, okay.
It's a third of an acre.
Third of an acre.
There's also a stream channel goes across it, or near the back, and there's some floodplain across
Mhm.
about half the lot. So the buildable portion of the lot is pretty limited, particularly when you see where you might be able to get access, which is very limited.
Right. And I guess my question too, and maybe this isn't really important to this discussion, but I was curious to know what your perspective is on what they're going to do when they, create some impervious coverage there now.
Well, there will be stormwater management BMP installed on the property. That's part of it.
Okay.
And Dan, ingress and egress is probably going to be in the vicinity of where that seems like a natural driveway entrance that fronts Hartsdale.
Yeah, it has to be right at this end of the property. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
It's as far away as it can get from the signalized intersection.
Yeah.
And that the aerial photo is showing that truck with a trailer behind it. Does that belong to the developed lot next door?
2 lots over, Ed, 2 lots over. Fellow has a grass cutting business, and he may plow snow in the winter, but it's 2 houses over.
Just keep in mind that this is the tax map, and the property lines, the accuracy of those lines reflects that. So,
Yeah, the line actually could be a little on the other side of that truck and trailer, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, commissioners, is there any interest this evening on taking action to execute this license agreement?
I'll make the motion that we approve a license agreement to allow installation and maintenance of a privately owned sanitary sewer facility in Hartsdale Drive, as written on our agenda. Is it going to die without a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Shen. I do have a motion from Commissioner Kutz. Is there any discussion, any further discussion on this issue? I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Is there any opposed? The motion carries 4-0.
yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Community and Economic Development. Looks like there's one item at this point.
I will take that one. Good evening. Tonight I'm requesting discussion and possible action to move forward with the purchase of a 2021 Ford Ranger pickup truck. This would be the last vehicle in the codes and economic development fleet, or community and economic development fleet to be replaced. We've replaced three, one each year for the past 3 years. This will be the final one. It will be replacing a 2005 Ford Explorer, and it is a budgeted item. We budgeted $30,000 for it, and the quote came in at $28,445, and that includes the cap that we would put on the truck.
Commissioners?
Aaron, I'm curious, and I mean, this goes for everyone. Whenever we get new vehicle requests in, it's always brand new models. I'm just curious, is there some sort of, and I think I saw Charlie on too. I'm curious is there a cost benefit analysis that's done that tells us we get more bang for our buck by purchasing new than say 1 or 2 years old at a discount? Does that save us money in the long run?
So I used to work with the fleet department, and one of the things that comes with it oftentimes are warranties. You would not have a warranty if you went with a used vehicle. Also, they know then they're not getting something that's wrong with it, that something somebody else has done to it and didn't disclose, so it's not going to function properly. So it's somewhat of a safety concern, and then also the warranty, it does oftentimes save us some money, because occasionally there's things that are wrong with it, and we're able to go back onto the dealer and ask them for replacements, and that has been done.
Commissioner, we have purchased used trucks in the past, one for, in fact, Fleet's very first truck was used. They also purchased one for Parks at the time. Charlie was here when we had those. Maybe he would like to talk about the experience we had with those. They were good trucks. They just didn't last anywhere near as long as what our new ones do.
Okay,
Charlie.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that, unless Charlie wants to jump in, but I'm good. I appreciate the explanation.
I'd like to compliment the staff for keeping a truck 16 model years. That's terrific.
Yeah,
Congrats.
you're right, Rick. That's pretty good service.
I'd be willing to make the motion to purchase a 2021 Ford Ranger pickup truck to replace the 2005 Ford Explorer for community and economic development. This is a budgeted replacement.
Second.
I have a motion on this purchase by Commissioner Shin, and I have a second by Commissioner Black. Any further questions or discussions? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Just real quick, I see that there's somebody that's a Samsung SM. Would that happen to be Commissioner Holtzman? I'm just guessing. I mean, she's been on before on a phone, and I was just wondering.
We just found out that Commissioner Holtzman is in Johnstown. That's probably not her.
Okay. No problem. And then I'm reading a message that Joni Shank from Representative Delogier's office is here joining us, and she would have probably chimed in earlier with any business pertinent to the township. So Joni, welcome to our meeting, and feel free to introduce yourself and explain what you would like to bring up that's pertinent.
Okay, thank you, President Malone, Commissioners, for giving me the opportunity to talk to you tonight. I'm Cheryl, Representative Delogier's new district office manager. So I'll be looking forward to working closely with you on things like the trucking issue with the 3 townships, and we have a lot going on with employment compensation. So if you have constituents, send them our way and we can help them with any problems they're having. And just, I'm here as a resource to let me know if I can be of any service.
Well, thank you for joining us. Commissioners, do you have any questions this evening for Ms. Shank?
Joni, welcome. We enjoy having good working relationships with our state rep and state senator's offices, and I know cooperative government is how to make it work the most efficiently. So by all means, in addition to our staff, please use us as resources. If you need anything, I'd be happy to get you contact information. So please feel free to reach out any questions or anything that you have. And
Great,
welcome.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to public safety, Director Hall, you take the lead.
Yes, Mr. President, Commissioners, there's two items on the agenda before you this evening. 11A is a request to activate the Civil Service Commission. The 21 budget contains salary for one additional police officer in July. And we're asking the board for approval to activate the Civil Service Commission so that we may enter into the testing process. Again, the Dauphin County, or not Dauphin, the Cumberland County Chiefs are doing a consortium testing, and it'll be March 27th and 28th. It'll, again, just as last year, be at Cedar Cliff High School. The oral interviews, which are usually attended by Civil Service Commission members and certainly are open to members of the board, will probably be conducted sometime then in the month of April. With the hopes of having a list established under the rule of threes to bring back to the commissioners for after we've done all the backgrounds for asking for the appointment of a candidate. So that would be before you this evening as 11A.
Dave, was this a replacement for retiring officer, or is this the one additional?
This is the one additional in the budget for July, anytime July 1st or after.
Okay, thank you.
Any other commissioners have any questions for the director at this point? Director, I just have a quick question, or actually just ask you, could you just give a brief overview again as to why we make this decision and how far out we have to do it? Just so we're reminded, I guess, as to the timing of things.
Sure.
Thank you.
The process is the board has to activate the Civil Service Commission. And then the Civil Service Commission basically meets and authorizes us to go forward with the testing in addition. So it takes, the advertisement will have to be done for these positions through the consortium, the actual Cumberland County consortium. And then at that point, that'll be the end of March. It'll take several weeks then to do the oral interviews process. And then the background process takes a couple of weeks as well, depending upon the number of candidates. And so it's a fairly laborious process. And we come back then and try to have a recommended candidate, under the rule of threes under the civil service rules, and choose one of those candidates for appointment. So if we're looking at a July 1st appointment, we're talking 4-5 months for this process to roll out. And it's all designed to get the best candidates, the most qualified candidates as well.
Great. Thanks, Director. Any questions, commissioners? All right. Ready to move on, Director?
Is there do we have to have a motion, or did you already?
Oh, excuse me. Yes, I wasn't even thinking. Commissioners, well, I guess we would just be giving direction tonight, right, Mr. Manager?
No, you do need a motion.
We do? Okay.
Well, I'll make the motion, Mr. President, that in this civil service activation, approve this request would be to approve the staff establishing a new list for a police officer for the July 1st hire, the Civil Service Commission.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion on this question by Commissioner Shin and a second by Commissioner Black. Is there any further discussion or questions on this? I'll call for the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion 4-0. Thanks, Director.
Thank you, Commissioners. And then the second item is 11B. Normally, we don't come to the board with part-time resignations, but I thought it was only appropriate this time. Retired ex-chief Dave Crosley retired from full-time employment here a number of years ago, but he's been actively involved in our CPR program, essentially teaching a lot of classes. They slowed up and almost at one point completely came to a stop during the COVID pandemic crisis. But he's elected now, and you saw we included his resignation letter. He's actually formally going to stop employment with the township, even in a part-time capacity. So we think it was only fitting that this gets board recognition, given his lengthy service and his dedicated service and his passion for emergency medical services, and his contributions that he's given to this community and to this township. So I would ask that the board basically just accept that resignation. We do intend that when we get back into a public meetings and we have awards to have the chief come in and actually have him part of an awards process in the future. But I think
I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead.
that's just more fitting than doing that online.
Oh, yeah. I was on the board that when the full-time EMS department was formed. And it was quite an effort because it was just at the time when all the regulations were getting tougher. You know, our fire service was trying to do ambulance and fire, and they just finally got to the point where all the training, they just couldn't keep up with it. And Dave was probably, his name floated to the top immediately, and he did a fine job. He really, really did. So I appreciate you bringing this before the board and the public, Dave.
If I may put some numbers to Commissioner Shin's recollections, Dave started as a volunteer with the Lower Allen Fire Company in 1966. Oh. I don't know how many people on the call were alive then, but I was.
Yeah, I was that was the year I was born, actually, Tom.
And he accepted a full-time job as a firefighter EMT with the township in 1980. Mm-hmm. And he continued on as, again, we know he eventually became chief. He retired in 2005 and has been working for the township in a part-time capacity as a trainer occasionally. But I guess it's been a few years, but for a while he was running the occasional call, but mostly he's been in a training capacity the past 10 years or so. But,
Tom, was it 86 that we formalized the full-time EMS service?
It was when 86 was when it was taken over from the fire company.
Okay, that's right. Yeah,
they were running a paid service through the fire company since 80.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay, I know the township took it over. Yeah,
in 86, correct.
That was my first year on the board. That was crazy.
So we're looking to accept a motion, I'm sure, with regret this evening.
I'd be glad to do that. I'll make that motion regretfully.
I have a motion from Commissioner Shin.
And I will second that motion. And I would like to note that I saw the reason for him taking this action now. So we wish his wife well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do have motions with regret from Commissioner Shin and a second from Commissioner Black. Is there any further discussion or comments? Therefore, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0 respectfully. And thank you, sir, Chief Crossley, for your service to Lower Allen Township.
Here, here.
We wish you well. Is that it, Director?
Thank you. Yes, that'll be all for me then, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Manager?
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. This seems to be the season for buying the items that we budgeted for in 2021, and I have two items here that would affect several departments. The first item on there would be the purchase of a 2021 Mack dump truck to replace a 2003 GMC dump truck. There was a budget memo in your packet, as you could see from the memo. The actual price of the Mack is more than what we had budgeted for it. The case here was that this thing was budgeted for, years ago, and it was 5 years ago, and it was a different price. The prices have gone up. Unfortunately, as the prices went up, I believe the amount on the 5-year capital plan was not changed. So the $182,000 was budgeted, and the lowest price that Mr. Reynolds could find was $195,000, and I know he checked with 5 different sources.
How do we make up the difference, Tom?
Those couple of ways. We could look for other opportunities throughout the course of the year. It's early in the year. I think the easiest way, and I don't want to speak for all the money, but I know we had quite a bit of money budgeted for the software, the finance and accounting software. We're not going to be spending that much. Mr. Grove can probably speak on that, exactly how much surplus we might have there that we could move over.
The contract is not finalized yet with the software company, but there is going to be a good bit of surplus.
And Rick, I'll note for the record that the next one, I believe, is going to be 16 over budget. So together we're looking for 29 that we're going to have to make up this year. Is that correct?
Who are you asking?
Director Grove.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
So
I mean, normally we are well under budget in almost every department. So, I mean, coming in under budget on expenditure is our norm. So I really am confident that we will be able to easily cover this without going over budget in total.
Right.
I would say that Charlie already dropped one item from this truck in order to bring the price closer, where that would be a salt spreader.
Let me just make this comment, staff and board. I believe we need the truck. I was just curious as to how we were going to make it happen. I don't think we should not get equipment we know we need. I've appreciated your comments so far.
Yeah, and I would echo Commissioner Chin's comments. I'm in agreement. I'm just putting out that number just so everyone's aware of what we're looking to make up. Charlie, is Charlie still on? I'm sorry, I didn't. I don't see him.
Doesn't appear so.
Okay, Tom, maybe you can answer then. You said he dropped the salt spreader. Is that going to limit functionality here? Because I want the truck to be fully functional. I don't want to, if we're going to make the money up somewhere else, I want to make sure the truck's as fully functional as we need it to be, and we're not short a salt spreader.
No, it's something that we can add later on. It can be added in the 2022 budget. It can be added now. Depends on how much you want to go over. I rephrase that. Nobody wants to go over. I get that.
No, I agree
how
with
much you're willing to tolerate.
I agree with Commissioner Kutz, and I had the same feeling. Let's not. We know the reason, okay? As I looked at this, I'm thinking this takes me back to a time of my own, and when I was putting together a budget, and I flat out miscalculated. So I said to the president of the company, I said, "Well, gee, I'm sorry." He said, "Well, where are you going to install this that you want to buy?" I said, "Well, all the branches." He said, "You can't afford all of them. You misbudgeted." So it can happen. So I don't think we should. I don't think we should take a back seat if we can afford to buy this.
Mr. Reynolds has just corrected me. It is not a salt spreader. It's the anti-ice pre-treatment system. Or the pre-treatment system.
All right.
What's that add to the quote?
I want to say And Charlie's having trouble connecting. I want to say, I think it was around $12,000.
Ooh, that's about what we need.
If I can
I
check,
was just curious in Charlie's mind or Tom in your mind, if you need it now, if Rick's confident we'll make it up this year, I would rather get what we need now.
That price isn't going to go down either.
Right. That could jump up. So that's what I was just curious. If you or Charlie thought we need it now, and Rick's confident we can make it up, then we could consider putting it back in, or we could approve the truck now at this quote, and then and then come back next meeting and add it. Whatever you think. I'm just saying I want to make sure we don't shortchange the fleet maintenance guys on what they need.
Okay.
Tom, is this de-icer as part of the 192,000?
It is not. It would be on top of that, and it's not. I was off by a digit. It's not 12,000. It's 22,000.
Ooh.
That system.
okay.
I think that's probably the reason we dropped it. It's quite
You're talking me out of it.
And Tom, we have other trucks with this capability, right? Do we have enough of those other trucks that
Yes.
we can afford to be a year without it on this one?
Maybe I ought to wait until he answers.
Well, I would like to hear from Charlie on that. I think it's a great question.
We bypass this for now.
Okay, well, yeah, we could, but I have some comments too. I echo the sentiment here, and unless Commissioner Black's going to come into the contrary, I think I'm speaking for him too, potentially. There's no question on something like this. Our residents and businesses in the township benefit from great service with regard to pre-treating and then after cleanup with snow.
Sorry, hang on a second. Okay, I have Charlie on the phone. So the question, I'm sorry, Commissioners, the question was, can we do without the de-icer for another year, or should we get it now? Should we get the de-icer now? Do we have enough de-icing equipment on other trucks?
Buy some more, treat more roads with more salt. It's a 1,300 gallon versus two 100-gallon tanks. So we can do without it. That's not an issue at this point.
So yeah, his answer is we have a couple of other trucks outfitted with this. We can cover the township roads. It just takes longer. This would get the roads treated faster and in one trip because it's a much larger tank.
Tom, can you ask Charlie, say we approve tonight, how quick can you get it? I mean, will this truck be in service for the rest of the winter?
No, it would be ordered and delivered probably, I'm guessing what, Charlie, in the fall?
Yeah, we'll probably have it by September, October.
So if we get you with the de-icer now, we have it for next winter.
Correct.
Or if we wait on the de-icer tonight, we're essentially going another winter without it, most likely.
It starts in December.
If we don't order it now, if we add it next year, then we wouldn't have it until
2022, the winter of 2022.
Yeah.
And my concern is that with the cost of this stuff, I think it's just, I don't see any of it staying stationary.
Yeah.
And with the lead times and we benefit there's a lot of value in the township with the equipment for pre-treating and clearing roads. Our folks do a great job with the equipment they need. And I think that if we can get them set up, I think we should, but I'm one person.
It's a taller order to find and somewhere else to save, but it's equipment that we certainly can live without, but helps them get their job done quicker.
I say we should get it.
Yeah, and I would agree. Curious, Vice President Black, if you have any comments, given your expertise here.
I think we should go ahead with it.
Just Charlie wanted me to point out that that brings the total cost of the truck to 217,000.
That's what it is then.
One other question, Charlie, is there a price increase looming at some point in the near future, or is there a reason to order this now?
Yeah, there's gonna be a price increase. What that's gonna be, I don't know. In this neighborhood to 3 to 5%. So it's best we do it now.
I suppose you all heard that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have consensus. I'd be happy to make a motion, Mr. President, to approve the purchase of a 2021 Mack dump truck to replace a 2003 GMC dump truck with the amended from the memo we got to include the de-icer for an appropriation of not to exceed 218,000. Give you the buffer there and the exact number if that's okay how I did that, Steve. And that's the motion.
I would second that.
Mr. Black.
I have a motion as said by Commissioner Kutz, and I have a second on that motion from Commissioner Black. Is there any further questions or discussion?
Well, I would just like to make sure that we haven't painted ourselves into a corner with respect. With all due respect, Commissioner Kutz, have you given enough leeway on the price so that we don't hamstring the staff when they go to buy this?
Yeah, Charlie knows. I think that's enough. He knows exactly how much it was because the original memo 2 weeks ago, he had it in there. We pulled it in order to try to save some money. So
was that the 218,000 then?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, if Charlie's good with that, I'm good. If you want me to amend, I'm happy to do that as well.
It's the price is 217,197.
Okay.
So
Good call, Kutz.
All right.
Call for the question.
All right, everybody ready? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Is there any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. I would just make a follow-up comment, going into, I guess this goes without saying, but going into this coming budget season, I'm sure you will probably put some things in place to make sure we don't miss on the capital purchases for 2022. I'm sure we're going to review the capital purchase plans a little more with a little more scrutiny. All right.
Well, normally, yeah, our folks are normally we're pretty good. I put a prognostication skills up against anybody. Occasionally, you swing in this, and it's what keeps you from being perfect, but it's what makes you strive. So yeah, we missed on this one and a couple. You'll see the next ones, but typically, I think we do a pretty good job with projecting costs.
And Mr. President, if I may add, Tom and Charlie, feel free to, if you have something, even if it's over budget and you do that, I'd rather see it, I'm glad you told us about the de-icer and, for anything else that they think, hey, we better get this now, even if it's more over budget, I'd rather have that information than not. So feel free to say, for example, here's the 195 and we've cut the de-icer from it, but if you'd like to add it, here's that option as well. I know we're, just want to make sure we aren't going to shortchange anyone just because it goes a little bit over budget.
Well, I certainly appreciate the discussion that took place. I think it was good discussion.
Yep. Great. All right, we'll move on.
Okay. This we also have in the budget 3 different pickup trucks. One would be for Public Works, one for the Parks Department, and one for fleet maintenance. And again, let's see. Let me turn Charlie back on here. And I believe the way this came out was the one for highway was budgeted correctly, right, Charlie? 50,000. But the other 2 were under budgeted by about $12,000.
Yeah, the one Yeah, Public Works was under budget, the other two were over.
Public Works is under budget by how much? I think you probably have that in the memo.
It was under budget by, I got the paper, right? I gotta find it. About 6,000.
So the one for Public Works was under budget by 6,000, and the other two, fleet maintenance and parks.
Fleet was over by 6,000, and the parks was over by 12,000.
Okay. And that did not include the utility body, correct? Correct.
Correct.
You
It
removed.
does include the snow plows, lift gates on them, all of them.
So it looks like the bottom line, we're about $16,000 over budget right now with these three trucks. And the only thing they come with the plows, everything they need. We did look at possibly putting a utility body on the fleet truck. That's got the boxes on the toolboxes on the side. But that would have added considerable cost. I think we cut that out in order to bring it down to. Go ahead.
It's bid 12,000 more on the fleet.
Yeah, that's the 12,000 I was thinking of with the other thing. 12,000.
I think we're in the same place. We can't have the fenders falling off. We have to.
It's already there.
These are not new trucks.
And I will add, I believe, since Commissioner Kutz, I believe it was Commissioner Kutz already brought up the 29,000 in the last discussion included this deficit as well, correct?
He did mention it, yes.
So commissioners, what do you think about getting these pieces of equipment in order?
Well, I'm ready to make a motion to at least get it out there legitimately, right? Motion to direct staff to purchase 3 2021 Ford F-350s to replace a 2005 Ford F-350 in fleet maintenance, a 2006 Ford F-350 in public works, and a 2010 F-350 in parks. These are budgeted replacements. I'm not sure I know what, do we want to put not to exceed $139,000?
Tom, can you comment on that?
As soon as I unmute, yes. I believe that is a good number. Charlie, that's 138,449, so 139,000 would be a safe bet.
That's my motion.
So the motion is not to exceed 139,000. I have a motion from Commissioner Shin,
Second,
and I have a second from Commissioner Black. Is there any further discussion or comments?
Yeah, briefly, Mr. President. Tom, you mentioned we cut something out on these as well.
Yes. What's called a utility body. It's got the, you've seen them on the pickup trucks. It has the doors and the drawers and what on the side that they can access the tools without climbing into the bed of the truck.
Well, what kind of a time saver is that? Maybe we should add that back.
No, it's definitely going to help when you're on the road working on tools, trying to, it cuts down on climbing out of the truck to reach the tools right from the side.
What's the cost on that, Tom?
$12,000.
12,000
Yep.
includes that for all three of the trucks, so it's 4,000 each.
We would only be putting that on the fleet truck.
Oh, okay.
So it's one $12,000 additional cost.
Well, would it be appropriate to vote on the trucks as we have, and then have another motion to add the accessory to the truck we want it on?
We could do that.
Sure.
Call for the question.
go ahead, Rick.
Thank
Are
you.
you going to make that motion, Rick?
I want to
I
vote
think-
on the first one, Ed, and then we'll come back to the other one.
We have a motion on the floor for the purchase of the 3 trucks. We will handle the addition to the third truck, a separate motion and possible discussion. So therefore, I have a motion and a second standing. I'll call for the question if there's no more comments or questions. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Now, I need some help with this motion. So somebody who knows what it is, guys, and then I'll make it my motion. I come up with what the vernacular is.
Charlie, the official term is a utility body.
Correct.
So the motion would simply be a motion to add a utility body to the fleet, the new fleet maintenance truck. What do you think? 12,000, 13,000? What would be a safe number?
Just did some numbers now. We're looking at about 14.
14 now.
14.5.
14.5.
Yeah.
Boy, he's got us on the hook, right?
Creeping
So
up.
moved.
I'm trying to do that.
We're on a roll.
So moved.
So add a utility body not to exceed $15,000.
Oh, God. Oh, so moved. Before we go any higher.
Yep, that'll be it.
Oh, okay.
Are you done, Rick?
I'm done. I
Second.
think.
I have a motion and a second. I have a motion from Commissioner Shin, a second from Commissioner Black. And I do have to ask Charlie, could I be remiss not to? Please describe this add-on and the benefit of the add-on for $14,000, please.
I didn't quite hear you there. I'm sorry, Mr. President.
He would like you to explain the benefit of this utility body for what makes it worth $14,500.
Number one, just like Tom said, we won't be climbing out of the truck to get to the toolbox on top. We gotta go walk right to the side, pull out the tools we need. Everything's all in one place. You got tools right more accessible to you right on the sides of the truck versus climbing in and out of the truck. And we still get the lift gate on it that we can lift the stuff up into the truck as we work on this. We need to bring stuff back. We can do that, but it definitely saves the time that you have to climb in and out. The tools are all there. That's the benefits of it.
Are we going to be able to afford tools to put in this box?
We already have them in the truck.
Okay.
Just need to transfer them over.
Okay. I'm ready to vote, Mr. President.
All right, I believe we have a motion and a second standing. I'm going to call for the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. I'm wondering if the public safety folks are just sitting back having popcorn tonight, enjoying this.
I want to thank you all very much for approving all this. And I know it's been a look at the challenge, and I do appreciate it. So does the Public Works Department.
Well, thank you, Charlie, for your hard work and keeping our vehicles safe and in good operation for our township.
Thank you again for the confidence.
Yep. All right, Mr. Manager, is that all you had this evening?
Yes, sir. That's it.
That's about all you needed, huh?
I'm exhausted.
Yes, Commissioner reports. Just so everyone knows, this evening, we do have a need for executive session for 2 items. And it looks like we may come out, so we will just recess to executive session this evening. We may come out with some decisions, but that's not certain. So we'll start Commissioner reports this evening with Mr. McCullough. We'll start with you, sir.
Nothing to add from me. Thanks.
Yep. Julie, you here with us?
Yes, I am. I don't have anything. I've just been observing. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Captain Deven, are you with us?
Yes, sir. And I appreciate the support, but nothing further. Thank you.
Betcha. Thank you, sir. Captain Crone?
As they're saying, thank you very much for the support. We have all of our command shuffling done for quite a while now. We should be able to settle things down. So thank you.
You betcha. Secretary Thomas?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Director Hall?
I have nothing further for this evening. Thank the board for their support as the captains have said, and we're very happy to get the command staff in line now, and we can just move forward with the other things that we need to do this year. We're also hopeful that one thing I should point out is we have a lot of the publics. We circulated some essentially a document that allowed members of the public safety staff, since they are in 1A for the vaccination, to tell us whether or not they would like that. And we've done everything we could in order to get them vaccinated through the programs and the available, vaccines. It's been a struggle because, as everybody has seen, the vaccines have a little bit of a limited supply. But we just learned, actually, it's usually you would hope that you learn it through public safety, but I learned through a Google alert tonight that our Walmart will be receiving, one of the few Walmarts in the Commonwealth that were receiving the vaccines. So other than that, that just came in as an alert. I know nothing about that, how that was going to work or sign up. We'll be following up on that tomorrow. But we pretty much are covered, almost anybody that within public safety that has wanted it. EMS got it through the benefit of some other programs. But I think that we're moving along, and we're hopeful that I don't want to say this, the pandemic is behind us, but we're hopeful that we're on the good side of that whole curve. So again, thank you for all your support.
Thank you, Director. Solicitor Minor?
Thank you, Mr. President, but I have nothing further.
Director Grove?
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Director Flint?
No additional items, but thank you for the support on the purchase of the trucks and the equipment. You probably noticed the age of some of the ones we're replacing. We keep these for a long time because we can, because our fleet management people do a great job of keeping them. They're not falling apart. They keep them running very well for a long time, and that's why we're able to do that. So thanks to them as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron Trum?
I don't have anything further for tonight.
Okay. Mr. Manager, Tom?
Yeah, just one thing. If you've been following the budget discussions over on the Hill, you know that our governor is at it again with the state police fee. He's looking to assess a fee on every municipality for the use of the state police, whether you have your own police department or not. We looked up, Director Hall sent me a chart, I guess, that shows how, what each municipality would be paying. And I'm glad you're all sitting down, because Lower Allen's fee, if the governor were to get his way, would be over $156,000. So, and this was quite a bit last year's budget. It was quite a bit less, and it's based on it changes based on your several demographics about your municipality. Ours would work out to about $8 per capita. Last year was about a third of that. So he keeps beating this drum. And the reason I bring this up tonight is I don't assume that the board would have any problem with me writing letters. And I'm sorry, Mrs. Schenk is no longer on the call, but writing letters to our representative and our senator expressing our extreme distress at the idea of our residents paying another $156,000 after they already pay $5 million for a police department.
Send the governor a letter that says we gave it the office.
Tom,
No, I
did
don't.
you say $80 per capita, 80?
$8
$8 per
Okay, I was doing the math there. Sounds
Yeah.
good, thanks.
Sorry if maybe my voice skipped, but no, just $8.
Thank you.
Right, and so their budgets are, they're always starting points. I think we get ahead of it now with a letter. Sounds like a good idea. Commissioners, do you have anything to add to that?
I heartily enforce that.
I anticipated. They're ready to go.
Tom, if I think of it, well, actually, I'll just write it down and maybe I'll give them a call tomorrow. I'll call Amy Sturgeon over at PSATCs as well and see what kind of effort they're making or planning to make on this. I'm sure they're going to come out with something and guidance for the Township Commission or PSATC folks. And I'll find out exactly how they're looking at this as well. Sometimes these type of things don't alarm them because they know it's, just part of the process to move the budget through. But I'll find out from there too. And if there's anything interesting, I'll give you, shoot you a memo or something.
Just FYI, we did send letters to Representative Lozier and Senator Regan last year too, when this proposal was brought up. So this year it's even more egregious because the amount is tripled.
Jeez.
Yeah, that seems really high. All right.
And that's all I had.
That's it? Okay. Musical names again. It's like Hollywood squares randomly moving around. Bill Yeagley, you with us this evening?
Good evening, commissioners. Thank you, but I have nothing this evening. Thank you.
Okay. And then I'll just quickly ask two folks I see two residents are here with us this evening. I believe Trent Gravely and Joshua Nagy. Is there anything either of you two would like to add this evening? Just feel free to chime in now.
I would like to know what happens to the old vehicles that they replace. Do they sell those and get to have the money back for that, or what happens to those?
Yes, Mr. Gravely. Mr. Gravely, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Dean Valone here. Hope you're doing well. I believe you're one of my
Yes.
on Sheetford Road, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. It's my understanding that and our manager or our finance director could correct me, but when these items actually get budgeted, there's a budget amount, usually an offset for what they believe they're going to get for the vehicles. And it's also my understanding and from my experience so far that they're pretty close on what they're going to get for the used vehicles. And then
the vehicles are sometimes traded in, but usually they're sold on a website, a bidding website. And we've been doing very well getting disposal value for these vehicles. And we do budget that in the budget as a revenue. So we do expect, in fact, for the 3 pickup trucks that we discussed tonight, we have $35,000 in revenue budgeted for the sale of those.
So, Trent, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, great. Josh?
Nothing at this time, Mr. President.
Okay, sir. Commissioner Black.
Well, I have seconded a lot of motions tonight to spend some money on vehicles, but I think we did the right thing because everything that my firm is involved with is seeing prices go up very quickly, especially in building products. And I don't know when it will end, but I hope there is an end in sight. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Kutz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to say congratulations to Corporal Scarlato and Captain and Director for getting us on track there to get everyone up to speed on service levels there. We're excited for that. I thought we had some excellent discussion tonight. I also wanted to thank my fellow commissioners for your comments and expertise. Commissioner Black, I appreciate your business acumen from your own business. So that certainly helps me in some of these conversations and discussions. So I appreciate that. And the staff for all your hard work. I think with Charlie, we've got one of the best in fleet maintenance, and to see all these vehicles last 18 years, 16 years. I mean, this is incredible. And I know they take considerable energy and effort to keep those up to speed there. So when we go over budget for an item and appropriate more, it's, because of the trust we have in our staff that they're going to take care of them, and they're going to give us a return on investment that we otherwise wouldn't see. And to Director Grove for finding those dollars at the end of the day for us when things come in under budget. So it's nice to have that conservative budget estimate to be able to know that we're still spending within our means. So I just, Mr. President, all that to say, I'm proud to be a commissioner tonight with the staff and the board that we have here assembled. So it's been, the last 2 weeks since the last meeting, I've had opportunity to meet with staff and commissioners and have just had some really good, fruitful, productive discussions. And it's been nice and just proud of that. So thanks, Mr. President. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Shen?
Well, Commissioner Kutz stole most of my thunder, but I can say that it's a pleasure to be a part of a winning team. It's when you can all get together and pull on the same side and get to an end, sharing all the thoughts that come to your mind and acknowledging Vice President Black and what he brings to the table. It's just been it's really been a good experience, and I'm proud also that we're able to do this. And by the way, I think we're getting this Zoom thing down pretty well. I've seen other really bad Zoom tries, and I don't want this to be the forever, but we're effective, and we're getting the job of the township accomplished. And hats off to the staff as they prepare us for what we've been doing. So, Mr. President, that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. I would just like to echo much of what was said. First off, I will again like to congratulate Officer Scarlato on his promotion to Corporal, and of course, do appreciate the Public Safety Department as a whole. And Captain Crone and Director Hall, thank you for your leadership roles and making sure that we do have good service levels in police and the other public safety disciplines here in the township. That is very much appreciated when I'm talking to residents, but as well, Public Works is as important when I'm out talking to residents. And we had some great discussion tonight, folks, on these purchases. And I'm really proud that we were able to have these spirited discussions about these issues with regard to them going over budget. But what's important is we're recognizing and saw value there for our residents. And that's very important to me, because the residents often come to me and tell me how appreciative they are that when they even see the pre-treating down, and it's not light, and they feel confident that the next morning when they get up to go to work, depending on the circumstances, that there's a good chance they're going to have roads that are going to be cleared pretty quickly. And I'll tell you, in the middle of the night, being on the corner of Lisburn and Thompson Lane, when after a snowstorm, our folks are working tirelessly. And I am so proud to have been a part of the discussion when I came on this board to get our folks in Public Works, that building addition. The proof is in the pudding. Those folks are able to work more efficiently having the space in those buildings. And so kudos to everybody that was involved in that process. I know that was a tough process. I was involved in it, but we got through it. And I couldn't be more proud to be representing Lower Island Township through this winter and seeing, how well we handle things when they come up. So having said that, I look forward to, the weeks and months to come as we get out of this pandemic. And hopefully we can all stay healthy, and eventually we'll be meeting in person. But at this point, we intend to meet via Zoom until we know that we're in the clear. And the manager and I'm sure Director Hall will be continuing to guide us with where our numbers are at on a weekly basis. So thank you, everybody. We are going to recess to executive session to discuss two items. One being candidates for the Recreation and Parks Board, and another, the tax collector's compensation. So I will recess this meeting to executive session. Thank you.
Sorry. For the people in the meeting, if you would like to log out, if you're not interested in when we return, go ahead and log out. Otherwise, I will move you into the waiting room until the executive session is over, and then bring you back once the meeting is reconvened.
Good meeting,
Okay.
Dean.
Yes, we're missing Commissioner Black, Commissioner Shen.
I would have lost that bet though. Looking at this agenda, I thought we would have been done in an hour and 15.
Oh.
I thought I might have some time before my 8 o'clock class to eat dinner, but I guess I'll be eating again over Zoom. Become a bit of a habit.
I saw Ed head out, so I thought I would.
Hold on one second, Rick. Tom, I believe we're still live on YouTube.